Hello, beautiful souls. So today we're tackling two ideas in one, which is fabulous. We're attacking again the idea of gratitude that we just dove into the other day and what true gratitude is for. But also we're diving into the understanding that outside forces cannot hurt us in any way. That anyone or anything outside of us cannot hurt us in any way. So this is also the extension from yesterday's idea that it can be but myself I crucify. So in today's idea encapsulates a lot. It is but my gratitude I earn. It is but my gratitude I earn. So lesson 197, it is but my gratitude I earn. So let's see what Jeebus has in store for us today. Here is the second step we take to free your mind from the belief in outside forces pinned against your own. You make attempts at kindness and forgiveness, yet you turn them to attack again, unless you find external gratitude and lavish thanks. Your gifts must be received with honor, lest they be withdrawn. And so you think God's gifts are loans at best. At worst, deceptions which would cheat you of defenses to ensure that when he strikes, he will not fail to kill. How easily are God and guilt confused by those who know not what their thoughts can do. Deny your strength, and weakness must become salvation to you. See yourself as bound, and bars become your home. Nor will you leave the prison house or claim your strength until guilt and salvation are not seen as one, and freedom and salvation are perceived as joined, with strength beside them, to be sought and claimed and found and fully recognized. So yes, today it is a second step because we are recognizing that guilt and salvation do not go together. It is salvation and freedom and strength that go together. So when we perceive guilt in ourselves or in anybody else, we are still thinking that we are finding the way of salvation through this guilt. But no, this guilt is just a mistake of the mind that must be brought to the light to let it be undone in order to recognize that salvation is where it is. So this is why we are putting so much focus and so much emphasis on how our thoughts are powerful. That it all has to do with what we are holding within our mind as to what direction we are going to go into our life. One towards strength or the one towards weakness. When we see ourselves as weak, we're going to see ourselves as guilty, and therefore we're going to think salvation is in this guilt, when it's not. So we're going through a thought reversal today to recognize that our strength is our salvation, that our freedom is in our salvation. And when we are ready to no longer see ourselves as bound, so will we know ourselves as free. So it literally is a shift in mind. The world must thank you when you offer it release from your illusions. Yet your thanks belong to you as well, for its release can only mirror yours. Your gratitude is all your gifts require, and they be a lasting offering of a thankful heart released from hell forever. It is this that you would undo by taking back your gifts because they are not honored. It is you who honor them and give them fitting thanks, for it is you who have received the gift. So we are also recognizing here that yes, okay, we practice forgiveness, we practice kindness, and in our moments by ourselves we might feel okay and peaceful and whatever, but then we go out into the world and we feel like that's taken away. You know, we go out to negative energies or lower energies and we feel like we're being wiped of the forgiveness and peace we just experienced in our own minds. Jesus is saying no, that this is not the forgiveness and the kindness of God. Okay? The forgiveness and the kindness of God is that one which never changes. It is one which never wavers. It is one that never, seems to appear in the mind and then you lose it at some other time. It is constancy, it is stable, it is fully recognized, and it is this that we give thanks for. It is thanks that we give to God who's whole and complete and does not change. That is the forgiveness we are asking for. And that means we must be willing to see past everything that we think is currently true to the truth that is beyond all of that. You know, behind all the churning and moving and thinking thoughts of ego is the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven doesn't one day turn to hell. The kingdom of heaven is always the kingdom of heaven. It is simply the thoughts that we've been believing to be true about ourselves in this world that obscures our awareness of heaven. And so we are letting ourselves be grateful that God's answer to our seeming problems, sins, and guilt is eternal. It is a one-shot completion. It is a complete correction that can never then be undone again, right? So be sure that God's forgiveness never changes. And even though we try to forgive and we try to be kind and we try to love, if it changes back into the states of hell, and if we find ourselves bumping right back into the state of guilt, that we haven't yet forgiven. And that's okay, but just keep applying and keep asking and keep praying and keep applying these lessons, because this will bring us to the point of true experience. It does not matter if another thinks your gifts unworthy. In his mind, there is a part that joins with yours in thanking you. It does not matter if your gifts seem lost and ineffectual. They are received where they are given. In your gratitude, are they accepted universally and thankfully acknowledged by the heart of God himself? And would you take them back when he has gratefully accepted them? Wow, this one speaks to me deeply. You know, because when I was on the beginning of my path and I received my revelation with God, after that experience, I was thrown into this space of gratitude that I couldn't be grateful enough. That I'd literally be like, oh my God, like almost freak in thankfulness and in gratitude, because I was just so grateful to God that he has healed my mind upon my asking, and now I can give this to the world. Like, oh my God, like it's filled with gratitude. But then we must remember that once we receive these gifts and we go to give these gifts, that we're giving these gifts to a mind that has already been joined with us. We are giving this to the mind of God, which is forever joined with our mind. And so even though it may appear that we're giving these gifts to others and they might not be receiving them, we're not giving it to their ego. We're giving it to the Holy Spirit. And when we give the gifts, you better believe that the Holy Spirit is going to receive it. Whether that mind of the self become aware of the gifts that were given at that time or at a later date, the Holy Spirit has now been given the gifts to then give back to that person at the perfect time of need for them. So we are not to deny the gifts that we are given. We are not to say, oh, that person's not ready to receive yet, that person's not worthy to receive yet, that person's an ego all the time. Beyond the ego is the Holy Spirit, and that's who we're giving to. And you better believe that once we give to the Holy Spirit, that lightens up the Holy Spirit in their minds, and it lets us become witness to the Holy Spirit in them. So that's who we're giving the gifts to. That's who we're giving thanks to. The self in them that is already received, the self in them that is already joined with us, the self in them that is the reflection of God. That's who we're giving these gifts to. Yes. God blesses every gift you give to him, and every gift is given him because it can be given only to yourself. And what belongs to God must be his own as well. And so that's exactly what I said. I'm giving from the Holy Spirit in my mind to the Holy Spirit in your mind, and then back once again. So it's from God to God, God to God. And God blesses the gifts that go from God to God. Yet you will never realize his gifts are sure, eternal, changeless, limitless, forever giving out, extending love and adding to the never-ending joy while you forgive, but to attack again. Yes, Jesus. Wow, he tackles all these good cookies. All these good cookies. So we will not realize that God's gifts are sure, eternal, changeless, limitless, forever giving out, extending love, and adding to your never-ending joy while you forgive, but to attack again. Withdraw the gifts you give, and you will think that what is given you has been withdrawn. What do you know? But learn to let forgiveness take away the sins you think you see outside yourself. And you can never think the gifts of God are lent but for a little while before he snatches them away again in death. For death will have no meaning for you then. And with the end of this belief is fear forever gone. And with the end of this belief that God can take back his gifts, that forgiveness can turn to attack, with the end of this belief is fear forever over. Thank yourself, capital S, for this. For he is grateful only unto God, and he gives thanks for you unto himself. To everyone who lives will Christ yet come. For everyone must live and breathe in him. His being in his Father is secure because their will is one. So the Christ's being in his Father is secure because they are one. Their gratitude to all they have created has no end, for gratitude remains a part of love. Yes, this is what we learned just the other day, that love is the way I walk in gratitude, that love and gratitude are synonymous, and the only love there is the love of God, which is eternal, limitless, changeless, and inclusive for everyone. So this is where we're going, to move out of fear, because it's banished forever, when we realize that forgiveness cannot change to attack. And we recognize that in us being grateful for God's forgiveness already being given us, so do we get to rest in that space of gratitude and love and truly experience that his gifts are eternal and never changing. And isn't that what we want? Don't we want the perfect happiness that God is offering us? And don't we want the perfect gratitude and love that God is offering us to be experienced here, to be accepted here, and then to ultimately extend here? That's heaven. That's what I want. That's what all of us as souls want. Thanks be to you, the Holy Son of God. For you were created. You contain all things within yourself. Capital S. You contain all things within yourself. So thank you, Holy Son of God. And you are still as God created you. And you are still as God created you. Nor can you dim the light of your perfection. In your heart, the heart of God is laid. He holds you dear because you are himself. All gratitude belongs to you because of what you are. Give thanks as you receive it. Be you free of all ingratitude to anyone who makes yourself complete. And from this self is no one left outside. Give thanks for all the countless channels which extend this self. All that you do is given unto you. Oh, all that you do is given unto him. All that you think can only be his thoughts, sharing with him the holy thoughts of God. Earn now the gratitude you have denied yourself when you forget the function God has given you. But never think that he has ever ceased to offer thanks to you. Beautiful. So we're turning that forgiveness on ourselves today, that Christ self, capital S, that God created us to be. We are still as God created us to be. And even if we forget for a day, for a moment, for a time, the gratitude that is worthy and deserved unto us, God still offers us thanks. So we can still be grateful for his thanks. And then in being grateful for God's thanks, we are grateful to ourselves for being what we are. And we extend that gratitude to our brothers and the sisters because they are the same self. And now we reside in the circle of heaven. And so it is. So I love you all, beautiful souls. It can be but my gratitude I earn. Gratitude to me, gratitude to God, and grateful for the God in all living things. And so it is. I love you, beautiful souls. Enjoy today's lesson.